Children of God, it's so good to see you again. I'm hoping that this video will be an encouragement, not only encouragement, but a little warning of what to watch out for when you are discerning, when you are a good Christian and discerning marriage. When you move to a new city because you hear the voice of God telling you that your spouse is waiting for you there. Now, a little side story. I was in California. I told you my I told you about my move to from California, Nevada to the Midwest. I love the Midwest. It's beautiful. I have a lot of hopes and aspirations here, which will take some time to put together. I'm not going to share too much about that because, as I said, the power of your motivation can be damaged by sharing too much because those expectations grow. Well, returning to when I came here, when I arrived in Manitowoc, or I was offered a place at a hotel where the manager would sometimes house homeless people, um, so that they could find a place in society they can get off of their feet and get some work done. There were quite a few employees who had to at the hotel who had to start off just as I did. I got a hotel room. It was $32 a day, and it was very affordable. So I decided to stay. In the end, they didn't charge me for the room, which was amazing. But they, but I got a job there. I stayed there for about a month and a half. And while I was there was a chapel inside, which was fascinating and beautiful. I actually was very grateful because I prayed there quite often, almost every morning before I went to work. I was the morning shift. Um, but my initial motivation to go there was financial reasons and also community mindset. I missed Manitowoc, and also I felt at home here. I feel at home here. Where this led me with the discernment of marriage, where I was actually asking our Lord, I really want to discern marriage. I want to have a spouse. But I kept on hearing in my spirit, go back to Wisconsin. He's waiting for you in Wisconsin. And I already had a settlement here, a foundation of friends and connections where I could start off. So they sent me to the hotel. I stayed there, like I said, for a month and a half, had a job, saved up money, and I met a guy there. He was engaging, very, very talkative, and very friendly. I actually, on the way to Manitowoc, I had a dream about him. And I kid you not, he had the exact features of that dream. What really interested me about the dream, too, is that I saw other people in my family in that dream who seemed to just appear randomly. And I was really wondering, what is it, because they like him, they enjoy his company. He likes to joke a lot. So, yeah, I met this guy and the attraction was instant. Like I was telling myself, I know that's the one I'm going to marry. He is the one. There I just couldn't describe it. We were so different, but that love was just instantaneous. I was actually in to how I met him was that I was in my hotel room and I was just typing up my story, just thinking about God, praying, when I heard in my spirit, go to the bar downstairs. The guy you're going to meet is down there. And he was the bartender. Um, and like I said, very engaging, communicative, and also I went there almost every day to stay until closing after work because I really enjoyed speaking with him. He was very talkative, very really excitable, and he had a lot of stories. I was very much enamored, and I felt that just like desire to love him. It was authentic. I do believe it was authentic. And eventually, like, it was so fast. Everything happens so fast. When it happens really fast, that is one thing you need to worry about, because instant commitment is actually a trap that people fall into quite often, which leads to shacking up together, to sharing one room before you're married. And that's actually a societal popular mindset where it makes it just easier. You're already married. You don't have to commit. Well, if there's that lack of commitment and they're just staying with you when you're paying for the rent, then you have not only a responsibility but an obligation to say, "Hey, you got to go manage your own finances, and this is actually my place. This is If you want to stay here, we're going to have to get married." And I put up boundaries with him. I told him we're not going to live together. We're not going to have sex before marriage, and I date to marry. And it was like, okay, he agreed. Well, needless to say, quite a few boundaries were broken. And I was starting to resent not only him, but myself. Now, what were a few red flags that I noticed, which I ignored over the time that we were together? I was together with this guy for about 3 months, and it just like, I wanted to marry, I wanted to have kids with him, the authentic livelihood of 60 plus years with this guy. That's what I wanted. However, another red flag was that almost everybody around me was saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?" And you guys don't have anything in common. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. "Oh, Sarah, I feel the spirit." And people who were very prayerful warned me that they didn't feel easy about this decision that I was making. You know what I did? Talk to the hand, because the face ain't listening. So that's basically my attitude. Some people let me go. They said, "Okay, I have to leave her to this toxic relationship because she's in God's hands." And they were right to do that. Other people stayed with me and asked me questions. They were right to do that. Both sides of my friends were right to do that. My parents stayed with me, thanks be to God. They did not, my sisters, they were supportive, but also asked questions, and that they did right for that. Now, it was so interesting. While I was in this relationship, I had dreams of having a future with the family, and all these graces would come upon us. However, the red flags that blocked that grace from actually happening came from my boyfriend, who hated it, despised it, in fact, when I spoke about God. God had nothing to do with him. He didn't want anything to do with him. He wanted everything to do with me and him, and that was it. It was a very oppressive feeling that I had. There were moments when I tried to speak with about interesting things, and he would just tell me, "Why are you talking? Like you talk too much," and or not talk too much, but I don't want to put words in his mouth. He's trying. I think he's not a malicious character. It's just this childishness that is embedded in that personality. Now, even though there was no malicious intent, there was manipulation. He didn't want to do any changing. He wanted me to downgrade my speech, downgrade the beliefs. I actually fell into the trap of becoming resentful of sacred things. And that had never happened to me before. I eventually came to resent myself, the changes in my life. I put all my effort into this relationship. I had just gotten an apartment and it was not furnished. I was putting it off because this guy was my priority. And when your free time is focused all on this relationship and you do not have time to yourself to improve or to practice your faith, that is a red flag. When there is a moment when they're trying to silence you and it is a regular thing, that is a red flag. When you are the one who is putting all the effort in to get independent, to have your own place, to find out what married life would be like, and to encourage them without their cooperation to go speak to a priest and talk about, would it be okay for a Catholic to marry a Protestant? And they put it off. That is a red flag. It was very different. I have learned a lot from it, what to watch out for and how to rely on God and not my own understanding when it comes to relationships. I have found the friends who are willing to stick by you during times of trial and the ones who will return to you when your trial has been a form of improvement and a stepping stone where you can actually overcome that suffering, overcome that self-pity and self-hatred and resentment. By the grace of God, he has returned me to his fold and he has found me again. The good shepherd has guided me back to his flock. And I just praise God constantly for that. He's always so good to give us second chances over and over again. And it's never too late to get out of that relationship where you see the red flags. You say that I love this guy if you're a woman. I love this woman if you're a man. But they have all these things that are problems that they're not addressing. It's time to rethink the relationship because you have no control over their lives. If you try to control their lives, that will build resentment and the foundation will break. There is no foundation there. It is actually very toxic and it'll press you down. It'll take you away from your true identity. It'll take you away from your true self. And your health, your physical and mental health will suffer from it. That's what I'm learning about trauma. I have to dive deep into the trauma of my past and what led me to this desire to have a quick commitment or a relationship that is aligned with God's will that I haven't discerned properly. So what can I do to change, to improve myself so that I could be prepared to be the good wife of Psalm 31? That's the real question. That is the real goal that I have in mind is Psalm 31. What is a good wife? She does not cause harm to her husband. She works hard with her hands. She is prudent. She is wise. She is peaceful. That is the kind of woman that I would love to be. And I couldn't be that woman with that previous relationship that I had. I need to learn and be open to marriage. I wasn't open to marriage, so I didn't learn about it. But now is a chance to learn about marriage and what it means to be a committed Christian in a committed and Christian relationship. I think I'll let you go on this note. I love you all, and I hope this has really helped with not discouraging you from getting into relationships, but actually encouraging you to practice prudence and discernment in a proper sense and not run on emotions. I wish you all the best, and by the grace of God, He will send you the spouse that is just a great fit for you. So stay close to God, and in His divine will, in His time, He will send you the right person. I love you all. Bye.